And we're live. Apparently 21 seconds ago, even though I only just pressed it. But okay. Anyway, hello everyone. Episode 11. Welcome Jack. Welcome Liam.
Hello.
How are we?
Not bad. All good.
Are you sure? You didn't sound. Neither of you sounded sure then.
It's Monday. Well, no, Tuesday. What day? I don't even know what day it is. Tuesday evening.
Yeah, Tuesday.
A long day at work.
Yeah, same. Especially being in the office as well.
Yeah, I was in the office today for once as well.
Liam?
Yep, I was in the office as well.
Yeah,
Can't avoid it.
Everybody's in the office. I've just realised, you see over my left shoulder, there's just an axe sticking out of my wall. Yeah, that was a prize for one of the events, but it just lives in my house now, still wrapped up.
What a prize!
No, I didn't win it. It was for the winner of an event I was running.
We just never gave it out.
Well, we weren't allowed to give away weapons, so we never did. Right, should we get on with stuff? We've got what we're doing first. Hobby, isn't it? What we've been up to? Shall we start with
News first?
News. It's been 2 weeks since we did this, Liam. I've got lost.
It's a good job no one put the order. You're going to put the screen on then?
I'm going to put it up now. Calm down. Calm down.
One job.
There we go. Oh, look.
Ta-da. Another Storm Dragon and Mao Ying.
Yes.
Up for pre-order this coming Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of people were expecting the Tomb King one out first, weren't they?
Yeah, it definitely said hot on the heels. This was hot on the heels of the War of Septus Fury in the article.
Yeah, so it was a surprise to see it come at first, but I guess there was just big demand for this dragon model out there, and they thought that, the next paycheck after taking everyone's money from the balloons, so they were ready for some more money.
Yeah, but you can only run one of these though, Jake. You can't run 9.
You can still buy 9 though, can't you?
You can still buy 9, yeah, I guess. Yeah. I'm actually going to wait to get mine. I'm going to ask for it for Christmas because I don't really plan on running it just yet. And I'm on my self-imposed ban of not playing Cathay, aren't I? So, she'll not be seeing my house for a while.
Yeah, I've just ordered a box set. Finally caved. Just one box set though. Just one box set. Nothing else.
One box set, as in like the battalion.
Yeah, the battalion.
You're despicable. Despicable. That's what you are.
It's just the prices of the sort of individual boxes coming out this week. Like the box set, the battalion just makes so much sense for what you get.
I mean, we've seen people moan about them in various groups and stuff, but they're just the same price as everything else.
Yeah.
Like I don't get where you're getting a decent whack of models and the stunning models as well for next to nothing when you compare them to 40k and AOS. Not next to nothing, obviously, but like in terms of what's been leaked, they're just the exact same price as all of the other old world elite units to me.
Yeah. And compare this to like an AOS or 40k model the same size, and you're looking at another 30-40 quid for no reason.
Oh, easily.
Like the fact this is
for no reason. Yeah.
And it's 2 models.
I was going to say, it's
a quarter of
90 quid for both bits. Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense if they sold them separately, would it? Let's be honest.
But you can literally do this battalion box, so 200 quid retail, and either 2 lanterns or a lantern of Shugengan or Shugengan and one of the other many boxes they've got when they all break down individuals. And you've got yourself a 2,000 point list for under 300, well under £300 retail. And that's bonkers from GW pricing for a brand new set of models. I'm not saying it's cheap. I'm saying compared to what they can do, it's a relative bargain.
I mean, in theory, it is less than, isn't it? Because what were the battalions? 88 from
110 normally.
Yeah, so two of the battalions and her. I think that's pretty much a decent army. And granted, you don't get the balloons, but you still get 4 of the artillery pieces. You get 20 lancers. You get
60 warriors.
warriors and Miao Ying, which I think you can do foot and cavalry as the Celestial Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can quite easily get a decent army out of 2 battalions and her. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we expecting any of these sort of like elite units, which are just normal units but upgraded with a bit of sort of hobby crafting on in this journal, like upgraded infantry that like we saw with the White Lion tracing hunters and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they're in the they're actually in the Cathay Arcane Journal already.
Yeah, in the first one.
Oh, okay. So we're not expecting. We might get like more elite horse people that we can tweak around with in this. Or
it was just funny though how you can.
Or a balloon with 2 baskets and extra bombs in it.
Yeah, if you take her, you get celestial balloons. It's got everything on it. No, so they released obviously the Arcane Journal with everything in it, bar her.
My Arcane Journal is still, because I made the mistake of ordering it alongside a Beastman BSB made to order. Arcane Journal is still 180 days away from being delivered. I'm massively cocked up with it.
So the thing is like they kind of almost teased it as, oh look, you can take this better unit for a point each, but you've got to take Miao Ying to do it.
Right, okay.
We're not releasing
but you didn't have access to Miao Ying.
Exactly, yeah. So there'll been no Celestial Guard on any tables unless people have 3D printed a Miao Ying model. To be honest, really, I think from the very, I mean, obviously we had conversations about it in terms of the events, almost banning Miao Ying because no one had her and everyone had just 3D printer. I don't think I've seen anyone use her, even as a 3D print.
So Toby used her at one of the TSN events.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He's got his own.
I've not seen anything.
3D designed Cathay, Panda inspired, but he definitely had a Miao Ying. I think it was at the sort of first weekend that they were released. But I don't know if he's used it since.
Right.
I've seen a couple of the ones which have been 3D print scanned and 3D printed out there as well. So I'm sure there'll be some around, but whatever. It's out in a couple of weeks. We're all good.
Yeah. Well, not for me. I will wait till Christmas. I mean, I'll probably.
You don't have to. You're choosing to.
Right? I am choosing to. I want to get. Thing is, it's my only grey army because I've not even sprayed it or anything yet. Yeah, so I want to actually get some of it painted first before I then add another model to the collection. Although I do need.
That's so grown up of you now.
Well, mate, you should see my ever-growing pile. You should see my ever-growing pile of models I need to paint. It's getting me depressed. I'm excited for this. It'd be interesting to see what's in the Arcane Journal. I think there's a Slayer thing. Obviously, there's supposedly Cathay and Empire mix because they've landed in Marienburg. So I've been reading a bit of the fluff actually today with one of the articles that come out today, and there's mention of Yin Yin, which is quite good, which she's the Sea Dragon, and there's mention of I think Yuan Bao, is it the Jade Dragon?
Yeah, I just skimmed through. I just saw that article then the community.
Yeah,
just had a quick skim over it.
This picture in, and it's absolutely fantastic art.
That's amazing. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
like a chaos.
Is that Galrat or is that just a Chaos Dragon?
I think it's a Chaos Dragon of some kind.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, obviously, Galrat is around at this. He's in the game, so it could be Galrat.
Could be.
But
the third head though, don't they? Is it a 3-headed dragon? Or is it
no, Galrat's just got 2.
2. Could be Galrat then, yeah.
But could this be a nice little peek into a new dragon model that we might get at some point for Chaos?
Could be.
It looks a lot like Archeons, doesn't it? For Major Sigmar without the third head.
Torgar. Let's have a look. I've got him literally
just
behind me.
The horse.
He's got like the Corn, the Zinch, and the
Nurgle.
Yeah, Nurgle head.
It's that model, but with one less head.
Yeah.
It looks very. The heads look more warp fiery.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the one at the top.
Yeah, the double eyes.
Yeah, because it's got like the 6 eyes, I guess,
on
either side. I mean, the art. I think they've absolutely smashed it with all the artwork, even bringing the artwork back from the older editions as well in the old world. The books are actually nice to sit and read. I think rather than just some. I know a lot of people just buy the books just to literally find the rules, but they are actually quite a good read, and I think you need to read them anyway, especially because it's a new setting. Well, it's a different age of a setting. Just to try and get almost a feel of the armies, I guess. If you're into that, I mean, I am. I know you are, Liam. Jack, you're not. You're just whack.
That's moving on from power gaming ways.
We'll leave you with that, Jack.
These are the other two. Obviously, you've got the breakdown of the battalion box being released individuals, and you've got the Praeton finally seeing the light of day on its weirdly orientated base, like a Tomb Scorpion.
Yeah, Tomb Scorpion. Yeah. What is a Praeton? Is it like a
like a mutated stag?
Yeah.
That's grown wings, and it's just
chaos stag.
It's just it just hates. It's just very angry at life. It's proper emo, and it's really just like stag. It's it's just hates everything, hates everyone, and it's just got a lot of attitude.
Sounds a bit like me.
And then we've got the big giant Cathay transfer sheet, which I wasn't remotely interested in until I saw it, and now I kind of want one.
Is that not included in the battalion box?
Yeah, no, look, I've got loads of these.
I know, but like it's got the ones on the bottom to fit like the big battle standard guy.
Yeah, the battle standard.
So I kind of want that for that. See if someone wants to go half of me on one, because I don't need 2 battle standard bearers. Do I do 2 battle?
So the ones on the bottom aren't on the ones you've got there.
One on foot and one on horse.
Yeah, I put one up. Yeah, maybe.
One on a balloon, right?
I think those banners as well, are they not the Nangao ones, so where Miao Ying's from? I think they're her banners, aren't they? Can you zoom in on
Northern, that? No, easily. Yeah. It says Northern Provinces.
Yeah, so that's Miao Ying's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why they're a bit more elaborate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is stunning.
Just freehand one, Liam.
Yeah, dead easy.
Especially
I don't know why I'm even bothering wasting money on the transfer sheets.
That top left one, the golden dragon, like the head. Yeah, you've easily played like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I do look forward to seeing someone actually freehanding. There will be people out there that are freehanding these. I do look forward to seeing some.
And they need to get in the bin, because they shouldn't be that good at painting. Yeah, I do like a bit of freehand.
Oh, this is
a
me.
Hobby.
Yeah. So I ordered the Cathay battalion box, and very much still in a huff and puff after getting smashed by Cathay every time I've played them in the last couple of weeks. I was like, you know what, I need to actually build a decent army for once, instead of just running the garbage trash that no one else to play. Try and do well with them.
Army, and then you build in skeleton cavalry.
They've got a place. They've got a place. So I pulled out the Tomb Kings out the garage to have a start building those. But after spending about 4 or 5 hours building these 16 horsemen, it's put me off even attempting to open this Cathay box when it arrives. The amount of mold lines and bits of sprue that I was having to scrape off these, it very much dampened my appetite after
what I will say about the Cathay stuff, it's not that bad, because I don't know if you agree with this as well, Liam, where the mold line would be on the older models, you actually fit the 2 halves together. There isn't a mold line on the side as such. I think you find them on some of the feet, some of the scabbards on the swords, I think, are a bit mouldy liney.
They are. There's a bit on the helmet, like on the helmet, between the 2 plates.
Yeah, but I think that's about it. It's not a lot. Yeah, it's not a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, these skeletons, like the where they join the sprue on like the legs of the skeletons and stuff, like it's like you can't get close enough with the clippers to get a nice clip, and then you try and scrape and you just like chopping through skeleton legs. It's like, oh my god, they were horrendous. And the horses have the tiniest contact point to glue together.
Yeah, and I don't know if you found, Jack, like where you put one part of the horse into the other, there's like two little nubbins on the end, and like you've got to scrape them off.
They don't align, and they were. I was literally like,
the guys just prop on top, don't they? They don't. They isn't.
They have nowhere to sit properly. I was literally putting the horses in the bases unglued, and then just trying to see roughly where they like actually touched it all, putting a bit of glue in between, and then just squeezing them close. Yeah, it wasn't a fun process, but you can see started work on something else in the background there, a bit more competitive maybe. But yes, I wrote some lists which we'll talk about a bit later, thinking that I had all sorts of stuff in the garage, Tomb King wise, pulled everything out, and I didn't have a single thing that was in the list that I'd wrote to counter Cathay. So looks like I'm gonna have to be spending a bit more money, I think, unfortunately.
Perfect.
But this, I've got enough stuff to make quite a nice balance.
And there's some new models on the horizon as well, as we know. So
yes, yeah. So it's nice to finally get these out and make a start on them, because they've been sat there since release. It's just gonna be slow progress, I think, because I pulled off, I think, 4 skeletons off of Spree to start building those, and I just couldn't face scraping more lines. So they've been sat there since the weekend.
Definitely a product of the time, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. I think maybe I'll just have a couple on my desk while I'm working and just scrape away during meetings or something like that.
I mean, having built, talking about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. Well, before the
you did a lot. You did a decent chunk.
Another 40. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's the thing is though, I think they're very easy to paint.
I think that's it.
Get the army done quickly.
If you look at it full army wise.
Yeah,
like building and painting, then the balance is there, isn't it?
Definitely one of the easier ones. Yeah, especially if you're just going bog standard skeletons. I think like the Tomb Guard obviously need a little bit more, because there's a bit more arm, and there's like mummified wraps and stuff, and a bit more bling on them. But I think that the bog standard dudes.
Yeah, I'm not sure what paint scheme I'm going to go for. Whether I just go for traditional skeleton horde all over them, or whether I actually try and do something a bit more.
That's all I did. Skeleton horde. Spray with Wraith Bone, I think, or whatever the colour forge one is. Spray that on it. Skeleton horde. Dry brush with Ushamti bone, and then a very, very light brush back over with Wraith Bone. So it's like a lighter bone, and that's it, done.
Yeah. So that was my hobby update of the week. I built 16 horse skeleton archers, half a necro sphinx, and got very disillusioned with building models again. It's been quite a long time since I actually built models. Like, a lot of stuff has just been built in my garage from a couple of years ago when I sort of just went crazy, and it's just been sat there waiting to paint it. So every so often I've just pulled something pre-built out, whereas now I'm actually having to build something the first time for a long time. I'm like, oh, this is not fun.
I didn't bother taking a photo because no one needs to know what Jade Lancers look like, but I've been building my second box of those along with that gatekeeper from earlier. So I've been doing Jack's plan of doing it during meetings. So I've got 2 which have got no arms and stuff yet that are going to get finished, or horse heads. Going to get finished some point tomorrow. But then that will give me 20 built. I've got 1 unit painted. You can do these ready for when Meow Yin comes out, and I get that big unit of 14 to 20 lancers in a single block.
Can you highlight any of your second infantry?
Nope. I've got an event in a little over 2 weeks' time, so I want to paint a second lantern for that. Need to buy a second lantern for that. So we're probably going to get done when I highlight that lantern and get them all ready for that event. And hopefully at that point I can start having fun and do more lancers. And then
I've got all mine built now, all of my boxes and everything built. Everything's ready to go to be sprayed. But I'm thinking about doing 1 unit. I'm probably going to buy another box of Jade Warriors and another box of Lancers, because I'm going to spray them in gold armor, obviously for the Celestial Warrior versions of them. I mean, I don't know if people have played Total War, but they're basically golden armor, aren't they? And round shields, I think, rather than like the hex ones, if I remember rightly. But yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do in mine.
At that point, you might as well just buy another battalion, right?
No, because I don't need that. I don't need the cannons.
Yeah, but they're free.
Maybe.
I'll take the cans again.
Yeah, Jack will take the cans off you.
Maybe. Oh yeah, because you get 10 and 13 anyway, don't you?
Yeah, it's the same boxes.
There's a couple left in my element at Sheffield as well, so I'll let you know, Jack. You can have the cannons for £88.
Just thought it would be a good chance to get a quick shout out for some upcoming events. As mentioned earlier, I'm at Facehammer. There are still tickets available. Last time I checked, it sold 30 of them. Luckily, every filthmonger out there is at Toy Soldier this weekend instead. It's in the same location 2 weeks later.
Don't go to Facehammer though, come to my event.
Much easier run than what people are facing this weekend. And then for promotion for Dan's events at Patriot Games in Sheffield for the rest of the year.
Yeah, again, mine's no. I'd rather people go to Facehammer. That sounds weird, but like mine's only a 12.50 point one. It's just going to be a little fun one. It was the one that got cancelled.
Because of the marathon or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The Sheffield Council shut the city centre down, so we had to cancel the event, and it's just been rescheduled. So we've got 10 players so far, so it's not too bad. But I was saying to Alex actually the other day, yesterday, in fact, that even if it stays if we get 14 players, we can just play in our little games room bit where we normally play, rather than hiring the hall out, which obviously costs us more money, so we can probably give away a bit more stuff. But yeah, we've got 10 at the minute, so that's quite cool. And then I'm just going to say why it says new price there. I was completing autopilot mode when I put these out, because I'd edited the last video. I'd also then done all the graphics for these, and then I just autopilot put £50 down like it was the Teams event. But so I've had to revise the ticket price after someone told me, like, that's pretty expensive for a thing. I went, oh crap, yeah, it is. So the doubles is now £35 for the team rather than 50.
Well, you say that as £50 expensive, but I'm at the Throne of Skulls doubles at Warhammer World in 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure that's a lot more expensive than £50.
Yeah, yours is a weekend though, isn't it?
Oh, is that just a 1 day?
Yeah, so mine now for the rest of the year are 1 days, yeah. And then the last one on there, Slay the Slay, it's going to be very Christmas themed. I've got a couple of, we're going to play the normal missions, but we're going to have some side missions on the side to make it a bit more fun. Yeah, I've got some fun stuff lined up for that, so that'll be quite funny.
Sounds good. I'll try and make it up to that one.
Yeah, it'd be a good laugh. I think a few people, I know a lot of the Durham Raiders guys, they've said I think there's 6 of those coming down, which would be quite good because they come to our events all the time. I think that's where we're going to, aren't we, Jack, in January? Yeah, lads, and Liam's missing out again
because he's actually on a lads weekend.
Yeah, you should cancel that and come with real lads. Come with the real with the rallying cry lads.
Yeah, don't watch me drink 2 pints and pass out.
Yes, that's exactly what I plan on doing. But yeah, no, if you need anything, just get in touch and go to Facehammer.
And the last one, which is totally not Warhammer the Old World related, about half an hour before we started recording, they've officially announced Dawn of War 4. And I am very excited for that. So there's no slide for that, clearly. But I'm very giddy.
I've never played any of Dawn of Wars. Are they 40k or are they fantasy?
Yeah, they're really good. 40k Command and Conquer, innit?
Yeah, okay. It was for the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Company of Heroes, and we don't talk about 3.
Yeah.
But it's back to its roots.
3, actually, I'm quite disappointed with 3, not because of the gameplay, the fact that they had all of the cool units in 3 and then completely messed the game up. So it's like such a bittersweet thing. It's like, yes, I've got Wraith Knights. This game's awful.
Yeah, out next year at some point. So
yeah,
really excited for that. But anyway, I think it's the main topic now.
Yes, let's move on to the
main topic.
So
you should have started this with Sun Tzu.
That'd have been racial appropriation now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did write The Art of War, mate.
So we said we'd do a little bit on a how to counter Cathay, and kind of I've done a couple of events with them now. Jack's played against them at events, Dan's played with them, so we've got some ideas on where we want to go with this. So I've kind of made a bit of a slideshow and with some pointers on, and hopefully these two can read enough to expand on the bullet points that are there. So
Let's not be sending this off for an article in your other hobby.
No, not at this time being anyway. But so I figured the best way to start this was talk about what the strengths of cafes are and what their weaknesses are, and then like how we can plan around that and exploit that moving forward. So
I'm just getting my list up, so I've got it ready. Yeah.
So
I mean, do we really have to talk about their strengths, Liam? I think we all know what that is.
As you say, it's don't be much on it. Like it's a fairly static gun line outside of the lanterns.
It's very defensive, isn't it?
Yeah. And then these lanterns basically don't follow the normal rules of Warhammer, or anything we've seen before on the table. So it's kind of, do you want to play into the lanterns? Do you want to play into what you normally play against a gun line? And then what should you not do? And to me, that is, so saying what should you plan for? I think you're going to have one of two builds generally. It's going to be a similar one to mine, where you have a couple of lots of infantry, some artillery, minimal lanterns or sentinels, and like a Shigengan or two to support and buff the list. Or you have the more offensive ones, where you maybe have two other lantern characters, a Shigengan just to make up the numbers and give you a dispel threat. Occasionally Miao Ying might be in there instead, but then minimal artillery and a lot of Jade Lancers. Just
avoid and hit run.
And cannons kind of keep the other bits ticking nicely without having to worry about that. And if you do lose two cannons, it's only about 340, 350 points.
And cannons aren't easy to kill.
No.
Not when there's an ogre stood next to them, no.
Yeah.
Which is weird because my ogre army seems to fall to bits as soon as they can touch it. It's very strange. My ogres need to equip themselves with these weapons from Cathay.
I mean, when we get talking about the units as well, I think it's very weird how, well, not weird, but like how good the balloons are, but they don't have anything spectacular in terms of weapon. Like they haven't got cannons, what a strength 8 and do multi Damage. They've basically got handguns.
It's just weight of attacks.
Yeah, it's just lots of rolls, isn't there? I think it's strange. I think because nothing on paper in terms of the weapons is like, oh my god, that's mint. But actually, when it comes to the game, it actually is.
Yeah, very much. And so I thought we'd highlight the three big offenders to start with this, and then look at the army as a whole. So the first one on the list is the Shigengan Lord or Generals, and these are hard to kill because they come with a, generally speaking, a 3+ armor save because you never not buying the heavy armor.
Yeah.
And a 5+ ward built in. They're very quick. The movement 8 or movement 9, maybe 7 and 9, depending on if they fly or not. Swiss stride built in. They have various different options, so they can either be cheap and cheerful, and maybe like hammer hand casters and just go into melee, or you can do what I've been doing and having a more defensive character with illusion magic and trying to delay and kind of supplement the rest of your army. But obviously you get he's like 370 points compared to 155 basic ones. So it's quite a shift in points values depending on what you want to take. And it's that filling lots of different roles which makes them really useful. Like there's different styles, and from one data sheet, for lack of a better term for it, you get lots of options out of it.
Yeah, he's a master of all. He's not even just like a jack of all trades. He's a master of all trades as well. Like he's very good at all those different roles. And I think one of the main issues with him is you're so worried about the balloons and the other stuff that he's very rarely the number one priority, because he's so fast and he's so hard to get. Unless you've got a decent artillery line yourself, he's so hard to pick up, and yet he's the one that sort of brings the whole rest of the army together, especially in your list. And if you can kill him, it stops a lot of their movement shenanigans and keeping you pinned in place. But trying to get him, if especially for the sort of armies I play, which are more sort of melee central, not much shooting, trying to pick someone like that up is so hard to do.
I mean, even that though, obviously the good players, or just not necessarily good players, but people who know how to play the game, you hire him anyway until you need him to pop out. But even then, I don't even think the Empire have got enough guns to kill this guy outright. You're gonna have to at least hit him with 2 to 3 cannons to try and kill him, and even then, he's got the 5 at ward. He's got starts with 3 up armor, I think. If you give him all the gubbins, 3 up, 5 up, 5 up if you take the Jade blade. So you're probably gonna need 4 at least to kill him.
And
so
even then,
it's putting a lot of resource into killing. Granted, it's your general and stuff like that, but then you've got Lantern running around, don't you, as well?
And that's the thing is, do you put that resource into killing him? Do you put it into the Lantern? Or more often, you'll see some players try and split it between them, and that's the big issue then, when you just sort of, okay, I picked half the wounds off of that and half the wounds of that, but they're both still in play and they're both still in operation.
So I've got that as well, like the golden rule for dealing with Cathay is you can't, for all these mobile elements, you can't split fire. You have to weaken something and then have a plan to finish it. Because these guys are 6 or 7 wounds respectively, which means you need to take them down to 1 wound to get any points off them.
Yeah, it's getting below 25.
Yeah, so you have to finish them off, or you've wasted time and effort for no reason. Another bit that I found when we've struggled to use them effectively have been when people are able to pin them down. So they've only got a handful of attacks, 4 attacks from the rider or 3 on the lower level. 3 attacks from the beast and no stomps because it's got impacts. So if you're able to pin them down into place, they don't like fighting ranked up blocks.
But who's ever managed to get a ranked up block across the board against Cathay?
Yeah, that is a fair point.
I mean, you could probably do it definitely with skeletons. Could you just heal them back?
No, the balloons, a block of skeletons, the balloons would kill 30, 40 in a turn. Just a balloon, probably.
Yeah, well, see, that's why you run 4 blocks of 40 skeletons, Jack.
Yeah, but this guy just flies away from you. If just flies across the other side of the board from the ones that are coming towards it.
Well, you just get a lucky screaming skull to his face or something like that.
One thing I say, back to these guys rather than generalists.
Yeah, sorry.
The impact hits, the trick of targeting the unit champion on the impacts to prevent them killing units is a really nifty trick. But what you can do is, if these don't want to go into something big, so if you have one unit flat and then another unit just overlapping, if you can have it overlapping where the champion is in the unit, you can make it so they can't base to base with the champion, and that prevents the impact hits going on the champion. So you can then issue the challenge and deny them taking away ranks and outnumber and all that kind of thing. So it takes a little bit getting used to, and you can sometimes use characters in units to force champions onto the outskirts of units as well.
Yeah, even just one of my favorite tactics is when someone's lined up for a charge into you, you just move your unit sideways 2 inches, and then the shortest route isn't actually into base to base with your champion or so that's a really good way to keep, if you're facing an enemy unit that's got a big character on one end, you just slide along the opposite way so that base contact, that character's shortest route isn't actually coming into you. So there's similar to that, but I guess with his sort of base size for a standard unit, maybe 5 wide, he's probably going to clip the champion, even if you try that. So unless he's really close.
That's the other option, isn't it? You get in there to a point where we don't get the impact hits, and so it's maybe a 1 or 2 inch charge, so they physically can't wheel to bring the most models in.
Yeah, but at that point though, they just go, oh, actually, balloon, just take another turn of shooting at that unit.
There's always that.
Like trying to get this guy to engage on your terms is, unless you've got, a lot of cannons or something aiming at him that he's like, actually, I don't want to stand and get shot, or a couple of Valtide casters. You've got real pressure on him in the shooting phase, and he's like, actually, I'd rather be stuck in combat so I can't be targeted. Then I think it's really hard to sort of force this guy into fighting with you.
Yeah. So in terms of dealing with these, are we looking at magic, artillery, and then kind of swarming where you can to finish them off, or baiting them into challenges or charges they don't want?
Yeah, you've got to try and get them, like Jack just said there. You've got to fight them on your terms rather than the other way around. That later, also that's very much harder to do than say it. Yeah, harder to do than we all say it is. But I think if you're going to deal with them short term, just shoot them with cannons and just hope for the best. Is the
but those armies that don't have artillery.
Yeah,
honestly, like when I played with my demons, Liam, I just. Especially when he's paired with his illusion magic and he's just, suddenly you're only a D6 movement or you can't charge or there's something blocking the charge. It's like, there's just very little you can do. You just got to hope he miscasts and stops himself being able to cast magic.
You've got to Age of Infantry him, haven't you? Basically.
Yeah. Or you've got to like just focus everything in around him so that, wherever he moves, there's something that can get a charge on him. But then you're ignoring everything else, and the cannons are shooting and stopping you being able to move. And it's just the whole army is so synergized that it's really hard to pick. Even though you need to focus fire and pick things off one at a time, it's so hard in reality to actually do that. And that's the problem. That's why we're seeing them being so successful. Is that there's no one part of the army that is winning it for them. It's like the whole thing. So you can't just go in and these warriors of chaos lists that rely on a chaos dragon, now that they can't kill a unit, they're suddenly in trouble. Whereas these guys, like, they're just so well rounded that it's really hard to just limit them by picking out the sort of one strength.
So next on the hit list was a cannon. So these are super reliable with the ogre upgrade. It's like having that inbuilt engineer into every war machine. If you don't need to use the engineer, the ogres reroll, you can just fire again. I'm a big fan of, with Cathay, not using the fire twice unless I'm expecting my cannon to die the following turn. Just having that thunderous impact, which helps mitigate like speed coming at you. Having the reliability of that each turn, I generally find is more important than getting that second shot off when you're going to get that second shot next turn anyway.
Yeah, I guess if you get sort of turn 2 and there's something in your face, then that's when you sort of just go all out on that double shoot. But I don't know, do you not think there's, like when we played and you sort of got my great unclean one down to 1 wound turn 1, did you not have that sort of little voice in your mind going, just finish him off, take that second, that next round of shooting?
So there's always that voice, but at the same time, he's moving 8 inches forward. We're 24 inches apart.
Yeah.
Like,
but if that's a chaos dragon,
but even then, it's a chaos dragon. I'm potentially popping a no-fly banner. It's now movement 6, moving 12 inches forward. It's still not massively guaranteed a charge in turn 2. But then if I shoot it in turn 2 as well, and it's still alive, that's when I maybe consider shooting the second shot in turn 2.
Yeah.
When I'm going to lose something if I don't kill it. Like, there's definitely the times where you need to gamble and shoot all of them at the same time and kill everything. But there's no need to, in a lot of the instances, in my opinion anyway, actually gambling turn 1. You don't need to.
No, especially with your reliability of your banner, you don't have to pass a leadership test for it. You just go, the banner's off. So you've got really till turn 3 minimum for things to get across. And by the time your cannons have slowed things down, your illusion casters slowed things down, a lot of time you actually got till turn 5, 6 before anything can get anywhere near. And by that point, they're dead anyway.
So that's thing about these is the shenanigans and the protection it provides. Like the way it works with targeting multi-type units of characters and shooting is bonkers. So I think generally speaking, people will end up playing it as, I know we're doing this at Facehammer, where it's effectively a fourth crew member. So extra wounds against combat, still 3 against shooting. But if you're playing it as it is written for people like that, people who prefer that way, then it's just ridiculous amounts of protection to the cannon from shooting as well. And that doesn't quite seem right. So we'll pretend that's not happening for most of this.
Is this the argument where you can essentially have to divvy it between the cannon and the ogre?
Ogre,
he's a character.
Yeah, in a model, in a unit with less than 5 models.
Yeah, we had that conversation, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Nah.
So I've put here for ways of dealing with them or things to be aware of. First one is, as Jack said, you can't let them fire for all 6 turns. No. You need to find a way to get into them. And how you do that will vary from army to army. Ambushing, great, because they can't protect from the front and the back at the same time.
But then ambushing, a lot of the units that you've put into ambush for dealing with artillery in other armies, your 10-man unit or that sort of stuff, can't deal with this. But with the stand and shoot, and then you get into combat and you've got an ogre slapping you in the face. Those units can't deal with this. So you've got you've suddenly got to start doubling the size of your ambushing units to just face this one. On the off chance you come into this one army, they're going to be a popular army, so the odds are we're probably going to, you are going to face these things, especially if you're looking to get those top table positions. But you're going to lists. Which is the point of this podcast. Lists are going to have to be tailored to face this army, and unfortunately, that's the case. Which is it's a bit of a shame that the game's in this state where everything is having to be made just to face this one thing. Whereas
we're saying that, but at the same time, you say you need to double the size of your gore unit. You're going from what, a 7-man to a 14, 15-man. It's not a vast amount of points investment. And I know from playing Wars of the Sea, the amount of time where I've ambushed something in the back and I've maybe lost 1 or 2 dudes on the way in anyway. I've got 4 left. This can't do anything. Whereas actually, if I had 10 that ambushed and I've lost 2 or 3 and I've now got 7 left, I can do something more.
Yeah, but as you start to make those units bigger, it's harder to bring them on the board because of the space allowance. Those points that you're taking from elsewhere in the list, were probably quite important to where they were previously. You're having to drop a razor gore or a rank of infantry, or those points are coming from somewhere. So it's going to impact it. It will impact other parts of the list. So although it might only be 50, 70 points to get those extra models, those points were spent elsewhere.
Yeah. And that comes back to the point here where you need to do more than you normally would to finish those units. But one thing I hate is target overload. So I was talking to someone about dealing with Cathay the other week, and he's like, I could take 2 dragons, that'd be a decent option. Yeah, it would, but I can probably deal with 2 dragons. What I can't deal with is 3 or 4. By dragon, I mean toughness 6 and flying.
Yeah, big monsters.
So, Tomb Kings with 2 or 3 Necrosphinxes and a couple of dragons, perfect for it. Or some of the Chaos lists that are out there.
So you're saying is they need to run triple Jabba Slide?
I don't remember saying waste your money. But, that kind of thing.
It's already wasted. It's already wasted.
That'd be great if you then had a flying dragon from your lords. So making it so they can't kill everything or can't slow down everything is, I think, one real strength of some armies out there when playing into this kind of list. It's kind of the same as you would against an Empire known list or that kind of thing where you got lots of cannons and you just need to overpower them through raw numbers.
Yeah, I think the one risk with that though is, Cathay armies deploy quite tight, and for you to line up against them, you want to be right in front of them with those 3 different things. But then, as you cannon start shooting, one cannonball affects all 3 of those dragons. So you've got to spread your line out, but then
you do.
But then you can just pick off the one that's closer each turn. So, again, it's just it's very difficult to actually do on the tabletop, because you put one here, you put the other 2 on the flanks. The one closest gets taken out. The 2 flank ones take an extra turn to get there, and that gives you that extra turn to take one of them out. And then you've just got one dragon there in the end. You're like, oh, actually, this one dragon can't even deal with a block of infantry on its own now.
We say flanks, but realistically, you probably need to make sure that the dragons on the left and the right are only 10 inches from the dragon in the middle, because by the time you've got the base, then so like shoot one in the middle. Yes, if they roll like double 6, it might hit both. But put them 11 inches and they can't. And then if they hit that one, they also get the middle one, but not this one. And again, if you're taking multiple cannons and ogres, you can slow more down. But then you've taken 3 wounds off this one, 2 off this one, you misfired on this one, and suddenly there's actually still 3 dragons there. So it's changing the way you would play, not just your list. But the last one of the problem units is everyone's favourite. It's the Jade Warriors.
They are a pain. High weapon skill 6 or 7 or whatever ridiculousness to them. The 3 armors.
I think very often. But the lantern. So this is, I said like at the start, it is something which is totally different to anything we've seen in Warhammer. I think the closest thing that comes to it is, in concept anyway, is the Sky Chariot from the High Elves. It's like a mobile artillery platform that shoots and can go into combat a little bit if it really wants to. Whereas this would rather just shoot because its firepower is obnoxious. It's also incredibly hard to kill, especially with a character on top. It starts with 7 wounds, which probably seems a couple too many on reflection, but it's that 4+ save for character mounting, taking it to 9 or 10 wounds, bringing a ward save with it.
The cheap ward save on it is the big killer. Ward save on. If the ward save just applied to the extra 3 wounds, or I don't know how that would work in reality, but like the fact that ward save then passes on to the 7 wounds of stuff that would be relatively killable without it. That's when it becomes hard, and 9-10 wounds is 4, 5, 6 cannons really to deal with that. So unless you're running the sort of super null cannon line, then a lot of armies just don't have the firepower to even put a dent in these things.
And the other bit with these, which doesn't apply to anything else in the game, is it's literally impossible to tie down. Shy of you fluking a draw on combat.
I think the only way is if you have some nice, shoot little chaffy flying units, harpies, furies, that sort of thing. Your demon prince somehow manages to get into combat with it, and you plunk the other things behind it to pin it in place.
Even then, as long as it breaks, so it does when it does a disengage, it falls back in good order.
So it can still fly over. So it still fly over the top of them,
and maybe take the odd wound when it does so. But if it's given ground, then great. But you're never wanting to give ground.
No.
So in terms of dealing with these, it's similar to the Shugengan in that you need to do enough damage to the point where you can one round it in combat with something. And to me, that is usually taking it down to 5 wounds with shooting, and then hitting it hard enough with either a unit that's got a lot of strength 4, strength 5 attacks without a unit champion, or a single character with some kind of multi-wound weapon. And outside of that, these are very rarely going down. I think I lost mine in one early game to just dwarf shooting. It was handgunners, quarrelers, and rare special ones, Iron Drakes.
I don't think you need just weight of. You basically need to have what that outputs back at it to be able to have anything to sort of even.
Or another lantern.
but like, yes, they're actually killing them, but you can do some limiting of damage output. Obviously, you can't impact the bomb racks. They just potluck whether they kill an entire unit or nothing. But if you can position units in such a way where they can't land within 4.5 inches of the target they want to shoot, then at least they're suffering the -1 from the long range on the Dragonfire bombs. There are an awful lot of spells or banners in the game that have -1 to be shot. Glistening Robes or is it Icon of Darkness for Chaos are the two that I've been looking at for the armies I've been writing lists with.
That what you just said, Liam, about the dragon bombs as well. That is quite literally the only modifier they suffer, apart from outside magic items and stuff. Yeah,
they suffer cover as well.
Yeah.
So if you can't stop them getting within 4.5, then
standing woods.
Yeah, standing woods. Stand a unit in front of your unit, like a unit of skeleton archers or empire archers or chaos warhounds, something like that, where you know where the lantern wants to land.
Yeah.
Position it between that and its target. So
because this is large,
and
and because this is a large target, it still allows you to shoot with whatever you're sort of hiding behind it as well.
Yeah,
which you'll see sort of in my sort of proposed list later. That'd be my sort of plan for that.
Yeah, but
I guess Beastmen are probably the best army to get all these -1 modifiers. They've got like Pelt of Midnight in the Glittering Robe. Like they could probably get -2, 3 to be shot, and you've got the banner in there which can, or the chalice which can really hamper shooting for a turn. They're probably one of the better armies out there to actually have a chance of this. But I think it's.
So you've submitted a Beastman list for this, right?
Yeah. Next time. Phase 2.
But again, the other problem with these is it's like no half measures thing, the same as Shugengan. We're starting on 7 wounds. You need to get the points out of them. These are heavy chances. You have to kill them flat. And if it's a mount, then 10 wounds you have to get them down to 2, no matter which character's on top. And that just generally is a difficult thing to do. Like combat armies are really going to struggle. Because it's just pinning them down. It's the whole fire and flee, feign flight, stand and shoot, like triple combo with the grenades, which just adds up over time.
Yeah, and like even the negatives to shoot, you stack that up. You want to make a big unit to get effect of those negatives, and you still just drop a template on them. Like the template doesn't care about the negatives to hit. So like, it's really hard. Like you can count, you can limit parts of it, but it's so rounded that you can't just ignore. Regardless, you can't stop something happening. But if you take away half its output, that's obviously a big improvement.
And I think the other point here to make is that all these things that I'm talking about are great when you're playing 1, 2 of them. Like if you are someone who's wanting to take 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever number until you get up to 9, there's probably nothing that your opponent is going to feasibly be able to do. So I'm coming at this from we've got some composition, we've got some smaller balancing factor in play, where either WGC or some TO generalist is limiting them, or even the person playing them has some little part of their soul left, where they don't want to take so many. And I think it's just important to talk that bit through as well. The list I've written can deal with a couple, 3 maybe, but I think after that point you are really struggling and out of ideas at that point.
I don't think there is anything that can deal with anything more than 4. I don't think, or 3. Sorry.
I don't know. I guess at that point they become, the very big bases. You try and use terrain as much as you can to sort of limit how many can get in arc of you. Those triple dragon lists potentially if they've got 9 of these, they're probably not got cannons, so you can, hide and tuck them in a corner, make the balloons come to you, and there's going to be so many that you should be able to charge one, hit it. It might disengage, but you'll probably overrun into the one behind it that's sort of it's shooting between the gap between the 2 of them in front of it. And I think that, that's probably the only chance you have, something sort of like that. But a lot of these, now that we're seeing more infantry focused armies, these things just delete a block a turn. And I don't know. Like, I don't think, when you start getting more than 4, you're probably running out, you've probably not got the targets to like, half of them just sit there wasted because you haven't got the targets for them.
I'll play with 4 and we'll see how long your army lasts.
Yeah.
But you can still do some of the tricks which people have talked about early on. And that I found that lanterns very rarely, especially from turn 3 onwards, play in the middle of the board. I tend to use them towards the edges of my opponent's army, picking off a unit at a time, limiting the amount of comeback onto them. So if you can, at some point, engage them with something that can take that standing shoot reaction, like a dragon, the Shugengan I've used to do that because of this triple save second, or even bigger units of cavalry, where they can take a couple of hits and probably still be okay. If you can get a unit behind the lantern, you can almost do the whole escort off the board. It's going to want to fall back in good order, and as long as it doesn't give ground, so it's kind of avoiding the disengage, which means you can then actually tie it down. And so you have to set it up at least 1 turn in advance to know you're going to do it, and your opponent has to not see it coming, because they just don't go stand within 12 inches of the table edge. But having a base that's best part of 5 inches wide means that it's actually slightly easier to escort off a board. And just something to think about anyway. But
I think something else is, the templates from these things are so horrific. It's thinking about how you deploy your own units. So your infantry, instead of being in ranks, do you just go line? Do you bring back line hammer to avoid the sort of those units that have the option to be like open order or skirmish? Do you deploy them in skirmish instead? So like your gore, that type of stuff, and just try and limit the amount of stuff that falls under that template. Obviously, then you lose your ranks and stuff, so they'll probably just charge you and win combat from that. But it's just thinking about these sort of things, that how do you limit what they're best at?
One of the lists I meant to put up was John's list from the other week, where he beat Brian at Saffron Slam. But
the Orcs and Goblins.
Yeah.
The Fanatics.
The whole Fanatics, Night Goblins, he deployed them in 2 deep and like 10, 11 wide. And just did that whole kind of, I'm blocking off a lot of the board and your templates can't kill loads. And that kind of thing, I think, is where you need to be flexible with your units.
Yeah, but even 3 Fanatics struggles to kill one of these.
3 Fanatics should, for the most part, do one in. Not the ward saved one, but the basic one anyway. We're only really, at the minute, we're only really seeing the ward save one, because people have only got 1 or 2 built at the minute. We're only really seeing the ward save ones. But anyway, away from what these are good at and bits, so we look at some of our lists. So the first one, I believe, is Dan's suggestion.
Yes. This is actually one I'm actually going to start painting as well.
So this is a Norn Empire army of infantry.
Yes. So it actually makes me a little bit sad, because the really disappointing thing about this list is the actual Milne State troops, because you have to take them. But I'd rather have more Outriders. But hey, you've got to take them, and it is still quite fluffy. So yeah, this is something I've been looking at. Taking up to Durham actually, when we go up in end of Jan. So it's led. There's a few little tricks with this, and I'll explain when we go through it. So we've obviously got General von Lohenhacker, or von Lohenhack. So he's actually got a damage 2 weapon as well. So if you do finally get into combat, you maybe smash a balloon up. Who knows? But I think he's only got 3 attacks, so he can only do 6 damage. He might have got 4, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Better than nothing, then.
Huh?
Better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's got 5 up ward, so he can take a bit of a, but he's only got 3 wounds, so yeah. So yeah, he's the. I think Is he the general? Looks
He
like
is. Yeah.
Yeah, he will be, won't he?
Messed up.
Oh yeah,
Especially with the last word.
I'm gonna say like the general Empire engineer. Just two engineers. They'll literally babysit my guns, which I'll go into in a minute. Master Mage. So all of my units will have some form of magic res. So I did originally have a 3rd Witch Hunter in there, but I didn't have a 3rd Witch Hunter model. And I've got lots of the old, well, they're not old, but the mages, the collegiate mages from AOS, but the old Empire mages, plastic kits. So I thought, actually, I can do a bit of stuff there as well with that. So I've gone for Demonology on the reason point of, because the veteran state troops, the Nuln troops, if I roll the right ones, where is it Demonic Vessel or Demonic Vigor, one or the other, where you get buffs, strength or defense, or strength.
Yeah, it's got to be in the unit though, right?
Yeah, so he'll go in that unit.
Yeah. So
he'll go in that unit with hands. But he's also got the wizard staff. So depending on the role, the demonology. Go on, what do you call it?
Magic missile.
Yeah, the magic missile spell. So the
summoning.
Yeah. So and he gets +1 to cast from that. So he'll be casting on +2 with the wizard staff, which is great. I forgot what you call the actual. What's the signature spell? There you go. That's because I've been out of the loop for that long. Yeah, so he's got that. Depending on what I get.
If you don't roll those spells you want, then
then I've got a backup. He's 20 points, and you know he's a level 2, and because he is an Empire wizard, he gives me Magic Res 1, which is quite handy. And then into the bit of the tech in the army. So we've got 2 Witch Hunters with the Squint Softens Marvelous Magnifier. So basically the magnifying glass thing. So that allows the unit they join to ignore long range shooting. It's 35 points, and it's also a common item. So they both got that, and just had spare points to give one of the guys a great weapon, and he's modelled with it, so it works out. Then the state troops, which you've got to take. So these are accompanied by just 10 missile troops. So the veteran state troops, they've got the Shroud of Iron in there. So that's in case, I don't know, the missile rain batteries start shooting at my at my big block of objective holding units.
What does that do?
So that gives me a 6-up ward against anything that isn't a magic template weapon, basically.
Okay.
So give you a ward against the balloons.
So it'll give me a ward against the balloons, exactly. Yeah. So it's only a 6-up ward, but I think it's like 5 points. So or 5 or 10 points. So we'll take that. It's because it's the I think it's the character in the unit they've joined. I think I'll double check that. But even if it's a 6-up ward against something for nothing. So well, for 10 points. And then the old Mighty Griffin banner. So I think that started with the way I've got them. So they'll be in 4 ranks of 8. So I will be static combat res 10 or 11.
Yeah, I guess even if you sort of, as we discussed, you deployed only in 2 rank, because you get that double the ranks, it still gives you that bit of protection against just being charged and getting blasted through because you don't have static res.
So really, that non-state troop block will only probably die horribly to lots of shooting or lots of balloons. It shouldn't lose much combat res because of the double ranks. Then you've got and then they've got the state troops, which have got drilled because you can give them drilled, so they can fan out into 10 and shoot the guns. Usually, where I play the gnome, because they've got a special rule where the missile troops can fire in 2 ranks for a turn. So they'll basically stick up in 2 ranks of 5 for the first one, do their null thing, and then drill into their normal single rank, like you said, Jack, in case someone's going to drop some pie plates on me or whatever. I can drill out there, and they obviously they have to be taken. They're compulsory because that's what you have to take with null. The meat of the list. So it's 2 units of 15 outriders. So these guys get very good in null because they lose ponderous, which means they don't take -2 when moving and shooting. But they shouldn't need to move and shoot because they have Vanguard. So the way this works is they Vanguard up it to be in range of something. So they move 8, Vanguard up to move 8. Obviously, you can't put the Witch Hunter units in the units straight away. So you will have to pretty much frontline the Witch Hunter units to go and join the Outrider units after they've Vanguarded, so in the first turn. And then they gain obviously the Magnifier. So you don't necessarily have to go the full 8 either because you've got 24-inch guns. So you'll only go however. So it essentially means that people can't backline against these guys because they will get to you. they will be able to shoot you first turn regardless of wherever you deploy anything. And I said first turn because that's important, and I'll go into it in a minute. So these guys have got 3 shots each with their repeater handguns, and then the champions have got the grenade launching blunderbuss. So that's essentially a dragon firebomb. Literally is the same, apart from it's -2,
range.
-1. Yeah. So hit does D3 +1, strength 4 -2.
So is there no do your witch hunters come with any ranged weapons, or is there any?
No.
There's
no point. There's just literally no point. So, another thing with these guys is because I don't think it's on there. Is it on there? Yeah. So the witch part on the list gives the units MR2.
So they should give the Outriders MR2 and
they give the Outriders
MR2. Make no long range.
Yeah. Which is literally they're just buff pieces. They're 102 points of buff piece for the Outriders. So yeah, there's like what? Let's work it out. A lot of shots there. So there's 3 shots each.
It's 42 plus whatever the champion voting.
Yeah, and I guess because so balloons are large targets, you don't have to. You
don't have to move.
It's less difficult to try and maneuver yourself, so you've got everything with line of sight and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So like you said before, Jack, about whether you deploy skirmish or in a open order, is exactly how these guys would play. So you could go up, but if you're fighting against the 3 Chaos Dragons, let's say, you could probably stick in an open order just because everyone can see to shoot because it's obviously it's a big old boy, or you can stick in skirmish and then obviously risk maybe losing. You shouldn't do with 8-inch move, but you never know. Or pie plates, obviously in skirmish you can spread out, and it's a lot easier to do with cavalry as well on the 60 by 30s or 30 by 60s. Because you probably it's a large, depending on what you roll, it's a large or small blast. So you're hitting 1 or 2 or 3. It's not amazing. So yeah, they're the main power of the list. So that's a lot of strength 4 -1, armor bane 1 shots coming at you, which will more than likely hit on 4s. If there's any other modifiers, you've just got to deal with it.
What toughness are your balloons? 6, 5 or 6?
5.
Okay. So yeah.
So there's enough should kill a balloon. Yeah, enough should kill a balloon.
40 yard attack hits, hitting 20 of them, wounding 6, 7.
But that's both units as well, Jack.
Well, yeah, but trying to get, I think the practicalities of getting both units. You've got quite a low drop, so the odds are.
They can outdrop me, but which is why the Vanguard's really handy.
But you still need Vanguard in 8 inches, so if you split across the flanks, trying to get them back together is difficult. Or if you go both on one side, they can potentially just drop on the other side. So
I'll explain what the rest of the list does, because that's how you get around this. So we've got a cannon, just because a cannon's a cannon, a great cannon. It's obviously not quite as good as the Cathay one, but 125 points, does the same damage, just doesn't do all the other shenanigans with it. Love a Cathay cannon. Maybe there's an Arcane Journal coming soon. Anyway, the next in the rare units. So with Nuln, you can actually pay to get Vanguard on 2 of your war machines, which there is 2 Hellblaster volley guns. Because we all know everyone loves to deploy out a range of Hellblaster volley guns and then never goes within 24 of them. These guys are starting in range straight away from the start of the game.
Providing people have not deployed 3.5 inches back.
Then they do. They're going to get shot by Outriders, and then if they come any closer to stop to try and kill the Outriders, they're going to get Hellblaster volley gunned. So it's wave after wave of shoot. This basically plays like a pike and shot type of list. You're going to get absolutely peppered by guns, and then fight a static combat res veteran state troop unit with a couple of characters in it and a wizard, also potentially throwing fireballs out or summoning fireballs. So the big trick with this is whichever way you want to put it. I've played with this list once, and I'm going to say I didn't enjoy it because my opponent didn't enjoy it. It was horrific, and I've messaged you guys what I did in. So I played Al, and we called it at the end of turn 2 because I think he had basically ambushes left, playing against Beastmen.
It's that side of list where when it goes right, it goes really well.
Exactly that.
And when it goes
that's
wrong,
what I said to Al. That's exactly what I said to Al, because everything just went my way. Got first turn. He failed what he couldn't. He failed the Steed of Shadows where he can yeet the unit up. He failed that, so he hid behind trees. All right, that's fine. I'll just kill everything else and wait for you to come through the trees. Failed it again, so he just stood in the trees, and they were like, well, I've got to do something, Anna, and that's when I just nailed everything again. So, yeah, I mean, it is like you've just said. It's one of those lists where if it doesn't go my way, it goes horribly wrong. Very.
I think the difference between Beastmen and Cathay is the shooting output like Cathay have. Beastmen
if I get shot back,
they've got Valtide, which is great, but it's only 15-inch range. And if that doesn't go, like, if you can deploy out of that 15-inch,
so
there's nothing else really that threatens you.
That's the other side of it. If I get shot back, then I probably die horribly. Because I think the highest save on my units are 5+.
I'd say like a balloon. If you don't get first turn and you've vanguarded up in front of a balloon can probably take out a unit of Outriders quite easily.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? So with this though, this is not guaranteeing I win first turn. So I should have 5 drops because of characters, detachment, 2 units, and then war machines. So that's 5 characters.
Yeah.
Unit. And so that should give me +1 because most armies don't have such low drops unless you're playing maybe against another Empire army or anything.
What's your drops, Liam? Yours is only 5 or 6, isn't it? 6.
Yeah. So it outdrops Liam's. So I'll be getting the +1 there. Then Von Lowenhack also gives me +1 or -1 depending on what I want to do. So it gets me +2 to the roll. So it almost guarantees me going first. The only way I don't get it is if I roll a 1 or a 2. Yeah. And my opponent obviously rolls 5 or a 6. So it's a bit. It's one of those where like you've said, it goes wrong if I roll a 1 or a 2 and my opponent rolls a 5 or 6 or whatever. Does it kill Cathay? I think it takes out a couple of the balloons, possibly, depending on where my opponent deploys, obviously, everything. The downside to it... Yeah. Sorry, the downside to it is because it is such low drops, my opponent will probably know where everything is before they drop their power pieces. In terms of Liam's, I would almost imagine... the balloon goes down last anyway, so it's a character, right?
Yeah.
So I'll know when most of his artillery and stuff is and all that kind of stuff and the Sentinel and stuff like that is. In terms of the blue, obviously I can't help where the balloons go because they're the last thing to go down. At that point, I think it's cover all bases. But what I have been doing is splitting 1-on-1. So I've got an unit Outriders on the right, unit Outriders on the left. engineers with the Hellblaster volley guns. The cannon's just there on the chance I need to shoot something that does multiple wounds. So I'm not too fussed about the engineers being with him. I want the Hellblasters to work. And yeah, that's basically it. Just split them up, and then the guys just walk down the middle and hold objectives. Because the other thing as well with the Outriders, they can hold objectives because they are core.
Yeah. I think one of the things we forgot to mention about the balloons as well is 360 shooting. So if your Outriders, don't.
I'm also 360 shooting.
Yeah, but if you don't kill that balloon, if it was a dragon or something, you could just stand outside its charge arc, shoot at it. It would move. You'd be able to chase it, shoot it again. The balloon. If you don't kill it in that one,
yeah. If I don't kill it,
you've got nowhere to hide.
I think if I don't kill it, it's game over anyway. So there's a lot of the thing I said to Al also about this list is it's very 50-50 because pretty much everything hits on 4s or 5s, depending on what other buffs and stuff like this there is, which is why I'm trying to almost negate the minuses because of the magnifiers. So yeah, I mean the Hellblasters are the Hellblasters on. They do whatever they do. Hopefully I don't have to roll a reroll. I can hit on 4s with that again because of the engineers making it BS4. But yeah, I mean it's my only answer, I think.
How much are those marvelous magnifiers? Could you give those to your
35
if you go do you give those to your engineer and then you were using your engineer's ballistics skill?
You can't join the unit.
No, they have to join the unit. Yeah, they have to be in the unit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, so that's my take on Let's Beat Cathay.
So I've got a couple of suggestions next. This was what I talked about the other day, and it looks a bit weird, but it plays into the whole a character to finish something off who can take a single stand and shoot reaction. There's a few points left in this, and probably need to make sure I've got the 5+ armor save item on the Demon Prince rather than, well, we've got the points to do it. I need to drop Yard Marauder or something. But you've got your 2 blocks of core infantry for your sorcerers to hide in, and they're effectively aiming for 4 magic missiles a turn. So they're both on demonology, and they've both got a bound item. So you're having to roll, but Cross Chaos don't have range damage output. No. Your range damage output is the wizards.
Yeah.
And with it more, at least with it all being strength 4, you've at least got a little bit of chance of doing some wounds to the lanterns on the way in.
What magic are you taking? What law?
Both demonology. For some reason, it didn't let me select one the night I was.
It's been a bit weird on some law selections. So you'd have the summoning probably on both of them.
Yeah.
Plus another magic missile from the bound item.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So you're having to roll 8s or on all of it, or 7s on the ruby ring.
Yeah.
To get them off, but you're doing it 4 times a turn.
Yeah.
You're going to hopefully get 2 of them off, and that maybe does 2 to 3 wounds to a lantern between them.
Uh-huh.
You've got 2 units of faster cav who have got flails, but importantly, no champions. So if you ever get into a position where you can charge into a lantern, you can go in and know you're not going to be losing a bunch of attacks.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Royal Tribe Berserkers who can ambush to try and deal with cannons. The fact that they've got frenzy and flails means that
you winning on 4s.
Winning on 3s on the ogre, 2 on the guy, 2 on the crew. So again, you're trying to one round them, and having multiple units of them rather than just one. You're hopefully getting at least 1 unit turning up on turn 2, ready to do damage on turn 3. And then same again when you roll again and hope that at least 1 of them turns up in turn 3 so it can start impacting on turn 4. If you're playing against a non-artillery list, you hold them back and just use them as backline blockers and to help protect your Demon Prince from getting shot, which is also what the 2 big blocks of Marauders do.
Yeah, because he's not a large target either, is he?
No.
Demon Prince, yeah.
And he can fly as well. So the idea here is that you basically have a brick of stuff in the middle with demon prince hiding in the middle, or just off to one side. And if a lantern comes either side, you use the units of dogs to deny landing spots, try and do some magic missile damage, and then if it's still there the following turn, you send the demon prince in to try and kill the one round one with its remaining wounds. But again, it's got this trick similar to you with a +2 to go first. It's high drop, but it has got the 5-man strong unit of Chaos Warriors with the Always Strikes First helm. And you don't need the Always Strikes First helm if you're going pure Cathay because you'll be higher initiative. You could just go Marcus Slash. But I think for generally having an Always Strikes First chap who is going to win that challenge for you 9 times out of 10 is probably worth it.
And that's the thing. We're designing these lists to be Cathay, but we're designing them before five round tournaments. So you still have to be. You can't just fully tailor into Cathay and just be like, oh well, I'll lose against everything else, because you've still got to have something that's competitive against other armies as well.
Yeah. Even when Cathay, give it another few months for people to build, paint, practice with Cathay, I'll be surprised if it's more than 25-30% of the field, just because people don't just pick the army on what's winning a lot of the time. We have emotional attachment to what they're playing with. Even Jack with all his 75 children.
I think now you've also got to build for the missions, because everyone's obviously using the General's Handbook's not called that, is it? Match Play Guide.
Match Play Guide.
So you're having to obviously build in towards holding objectives, holding table quarters. So you kind of want high maneuverability, especially with the ambushes as well, because it's, as we've seen, Cathay's quite an elite army anyway. So if you can kill most of the stuff, and these guys are just coming on in the back corners where there's nobody, there's your 250 points, or you're coming on and moving on to an objective, there's your 30 points. Those can tip the games now, and I think, because you've got so many bodies, Liam, so many targets, should I say, you're not going to kill enough of them in a couple of turns, really. Not to be hit back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and this is the point as well. It's like a balloon, a lantern, when it's doing its dragon fire bombs, will decimate 10 to 15 guys. One of the biggest units outside of those 2 marauder blocks, which are going to be harder to get to, 7 dudes. So you're investing quite a bit into it and not getting that output. You could probably drop one of those unit warhounds to get points to do a lot of this stuff I'm talking about around the edges. It's a quickly written list.
Yeah, I'd probably be tempted to drop 2 and get some more Marauder Tribe Berserkers in. Maybe.
And the last 2 units are Skinwolves. Again, no champions. So again, these are quite good for lanterns in that they've dropped 360 charge. They don't rely on armor, their survivability, in that they have got regen rather than an armor save. And as long as you make contact with something, you're toughness 5 for the following shooting phase. That means if you do charge in, they get a standing shoot, but you get the toughness 5 when you're in combat, so you won't take loads of damage back outside of that standing shoot. And when they disengage and try and shoot you, you are toughness 5.
Yeah.
So when you're winning on 5s rather than 4s, and it just adds up and tries to make a difference. And this is what I am going to be painting after I've done the second lantern stuff for my Cathay.
Thing is, you're always going to have a save against it as well, aren't you? Because obviously you got the regen, so
yeah, that's exactly.
You're always going to have a save, yeah.
So that's one style, and I've written a second Walls of Sea list, which plays into the other play style I think that Cathay can struggle with, and that is multiple toughness 6 targets. So we've got double dragon, 4 units of horsemen, 4 units of hounds. And then again that Chaos Warrior block of I'm going first.
Yeah.
And then I've also picked in this case 2 giant Chaos Spawns of Nurgle. And I've gone for Exalted Champions and the Dragons with the regen items, just for running that gauntlet. But there's nothing stopping you doing Chaos Lord without that regen, or doing this as outside of Walls of the Sea, where you probably don't go as high you probably combine a lot of that core into a really big block of knights, and you take 2 dragons and then a 3rd dragon in the rare choice. And obviously, we're not saying that we would ever actually normally do this kind of list, but I think that if you're going into Cathay, we seem to have upped that power level a little bit. So even my inhibitors for not playing a super powerful list start to fade away if I'm normally playing 2 or 3 of my games.
I think you have to, though, don't you?
Yeah, but then it feels very harsh on the 4 people that you don't that aren't running Cathay that you play and just absolutely get smashed. So like and that's the problem. Like you still want to be relatively balanced to have for your opponents to have enjoyable games. And it's sort of like, do you accept that the Cathay fight's going to be a free pass and you're just going to lose, but then the rest of your games are, enjoyable for your opponents, or do you tailor these lists to Cathay and then the rest of your opponents are just getting absolutely annihilated?
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? I think that's the challenge is, and I think it's what everyone kind of should embrace. It's like when Imperial Knights come out for 40k, like, how do you beat them? Like, nothing can beat them. They just stomp on everything. They just murder everything. Nothing can wound them when they first come out, literally, but hardly anything can wound them outside of the big, massive guns. It's almost like that. It's like they're the big bad boy. How do we beat them? And I think that's the challenge, isn't it? I think people embrace it, or they just don't and take the loss or moan about it and it's like, I can't beat it, so I'm going to get down.
I think that's where TO suggestions of sensible comp, just to take the edge off things, are probably where we need to be for a little while, till if and or when GW do address some of the issues underlying with.
Once they've sold the stock, I'm sure they will.
Although, to be fair, do you know what? I think the gigantic hound spawns are actually really good against them, because they
are and they aren't.
Yeah, if you roll well and get there, or anything with random movement, I think, which nullifies at least going in combat risk. And being able to just almost like like if they fall back and the disengage rule and stuff like that, they can just basically just follow them around, can't they, essentially?
And then you only get to do the follow-up, so you only get the 2 inches.
Yeah, but you're randomly moving then pretty much in any direction, aren't you? So
but that'd be my second option. And then we've got Jack's list.
Yes. I tend to play these sort of combat heavy lists, and I've just been absolutely slapped left, right, and silly whenever I've tried to engage with Cathay. So I took a step back, and at this point, as Lee was saying, those sort of social inhibitors start to decrease a bit when you've got these frustrations against this one army, and thought I might actually take a look at a decent army. And my sort of thoughts is, a sort of static gun line almost. And I thought, who does that better than Tomb Kings? So I've gone for this sort of rough and ready list, which is sort of focused around Ushabti, who I think really good as well. Who I think have the potential output for dealing with these sort of balloons and stuff. The multiple wounds too on the shooting, which
walking bolt throwers
discussed is great. Yeah. So and they won't even be walking in this list, I don't think.
It's a 30-inch range as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So I've got a high priest level 4 with a couple of items, level 3 couple of items, Mortuary Priest, Battle Standard Bearer, with those sort of anti-shooting items, and then core we've got 10 Ushabti. Having listened to Liam, maybe the champion gets dropped out of that.
He doesn't do anything but give you an extra attack anyway. That's all he does.
Yeah,
in combat of all things.
Champions are one of those weird ones that the next Goonhammer article is actually based around command, and when you put command in units and when you don't. And I think like a champion in there makes you more susceptible to the balloon charging, because it can get locked in and deny you shooting, but it makes you less susceptible to a Shugengan. So it's one of those things where you need to weigh up how you want to play the list and decide, do I want it in or do I not want it in? It's not as simple as there's a best choice.
No. So yes, there's 10 Ushabti with a small unit of horse archers just for potentially grabbing objectives. A semi-decent sized unit of skeleton skirmishers who will probably sit behind the Ushabti and house the characters spread in a nice long line with the characters on either end of the line probably work. So any templates which drop in the center of the line can't hit the characters. A couple of scorpions because you have to, and they're really good. So paid for the terrace below upgrade. Because I think they might chip a couple of wounds off a balloon if they pop up. Another 8 Ushabti in special, and then 2 caskets of soul. So the sort of thought about this is you pretty much backline with the caskets. You've got your skirmishing skeletons in front of them with the characters in. You've basically then got the 2 units of Ushabti sat in front of them in a position where a balloon basically can't get past them to drop anything on, they can't drop any bombs on the sort of skirmish unit behind them. Just because they can't get close enough, it stops them getting within close range to sort of blast away with the shooting. And they've got to get across the board facing 18 Ushabti shots a turn, hitting on 4s, wounded on 4s or 5s. I can't remember if it was strength 4 or 5. And then multiple wounds too. Anything gets through him. So and then there's the 2 caskets. You've got the 2 necromancy wizards who are potentially dropping leaderships. They're dropping templates down. So any balloons that come relatively close to get their shots off are lower leaderships. You've got the 2 caskets of souls. Then either giving -1s for the units within range, or sort of dropping their magic missiles out. So hopefully you've got a hill that you can sort of sit them on, so they've got a decent line of sight.
It's such a good, that -1 really adds up. It's like 1 less hitting balloon, 1 less hitting grenade, which is 1 less. It's like 2 to 3 less hits a turn, and then you've got the ward save built on top of that again. Like, it reduces the damage output by over 1/6.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think you need the Mirage banner either. There's a couple of things I'd change in this list, but I'll let you finish.
And that's the thing. This is just a first draft. Like, obviously, I haven't, you've seen the state of my Tomb King, so I haven't, trialed anything. This is just, a quick look over the items. I thought, this could fit in nicely. This could fit in nicely. I had a quick chat with Scott Reed, who's the grandfather of Tomb Kings at the minute, and we've got these blocks of Ushabti, which balloons shouldn't be able to, shoot through in a turn. Anything that does go through, I just res back up with the sort of the priests behind them. So I think it actually gives something where, you might just have to sit and shoot your cannons at me, and I'll, hopefully survive the turns and res back up whatever damage you do, and and play for a draw. Or if you want to engage, you have to sort of pass that slalom, or I can even push forward with the Ushabti and sort of try and pick off those balloons, and leave them 2-3 turns to get across to the priests, which they can actually get some points from. At which point, hopefully, I will have shot you to pieces. So I think this, against the lists where there's 1-2 balloons, a Mao Ying, a Shugengan, this would actually work all right. But against 8 balloons, obviously there's nothing that you can do that. But I think this list should be able to take a balloon a turn or a Mao Ying a turn.
Well, you think about it, you'll have 10 18 shots at a balloon. You're hitting on 4s. You're wounding on 3s. You're going to be minus
strength
1.
The strength 6
minus
on the strength 6.
Yeah. So you'd be hitting. So you're doing on 3s. Minus 2 or minus 1? I can't
Minus-
remember.
-1, but with
Well,
AB2.
AP, yeah. So potentially going straight through doing 2 damage. You should absolutely kill 2 balloons a turn with that.
No, just about one a balloon on average, give or take. Doesn't quite kill a ward, save 1.
Does. Especially when I'm rolling him.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
as well, the other reason you've the 2 casket of souls as well, you've got light of death to shoot out, which is horrific. As well as obviously light of protection, which gives you -1. Because obviously now the casket of souls don't stack as well. But you've got a shooting one, then you've obviously got a defensive one.
Yeah,
so
and it gives you
that. A lot of shots.
Yeah, and you know the skeleton skirmishers offer some surplus wounds to sap at if I need to boost my magic. Because you're only sort of taking one off per magic now, as opposed to sort of having to take 5 off or whatever. I think you don't necessarily need the bugs now. A few extra skirmishes does the job for that. So I think I could be casting at +4 for a lot of this stuff, and potentially I could change one of the necromancies to elementalism and get Plague of Rust and sort of ensure that I'm getting through that armor save on the balloons. But I think I think it's just a sort of rough outline of what I was thinking, and I think it would do pretty well, and I think it does pretty well against most armies. The Ushabti, even in combat, aren't any slouches, so
3 attacks each, aren't they? And AP1 with the capacity.
So against something with big blocks, I might struggle because there's not really anything in there which is super great at doing for that. But then I guess I just rely on lowering leadership and trying to get stuff to run off the board. I think Tomb Scorpions cause terror, do they? So I think you just try and terror bomb stuff with them. The Ushabti, will pick off. They'll pick off ranks of units each turn. So I think there's still legs in it against other lists. The dragons, again, it deals with dragons pretty similarly to as it would with the balloons. So I think it'd be interesting to sort of field and see how it does.
I think that you struggle against certain, like you've just said, the big blocks, but I think you struggle in missions as well because you've only really got one proper scoring unit.
Well, the Ushabti score, the skeleton skirmishers score, the skeleton horse archers
your
score.
Skeleton skirmishers are going to be defending everybody else.
Yeah, but once I've picked things off with the Ushabti and stuff and sort of weaken stuff down, if I can just focus fire, those ones where there isn't any mage targets, if I can focus fire on picking off those smallish units that are scoring at the start of the game, and just that 10 unit strength unit takes 1 round of shooting, and even if I only kill one thing, it's enough to stop it scoring.
I think the other thing as well is because it's almost, this is literally like the sort of thing I would take just to blow balloons up. I think if you face something like Liam's list, for instance, everything else just watches up and just stands on objectives, and it's like, come on, then you kill maybe 3 guys a turn with the bows. And I don't think you kill. Oh, you could kill the Sentinel actually. In fact, the Ushabti are actually really good against the Sentinel, aren't they? Unless you take the Granite.
The Granite,
Yeah, I mean, against the Shigengan, I'd probably pick off over.
He can't come out and play.
Yeah, it pins him in place, and I'm not looking to move forward to engage. So for Liam's one where he's all about stopping my movement. I don't care because I'm just standing still probably for the majority of it.
I think you definitely need to go first with this list. It's very much like the Empire one, I think. So I think if you start getting like the cannons and the missiles flying off, or even if you could probably
and again, it's only a 5-6 drop list, so it is a relatively low drop list.
But I think you could probably use the lanterns as actually combat things just to stop them getting shot as well.
I'm happy if his lantern's in combat with me. I'm happy either way.
Getting shot.
Yeah, I'm happy.
For your turn. In your turn, if they're in combat, then they're not getting shot in your turn. But then they can disengage, can't they, and do whatever they want to do in their own.
Then he's not charging me.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, the only thing I'd probably change is actually your characters.
Yeah,
So
that's the last thing I put in. I haven't really had much
yeah.
time to sort of look through those.
I'd swap the Law Familiar to the level 4 guy, so you guarantee the big spells. And I'd put possibly I wouldn't even take the Curse Weaver one on the pure fact that I think you need to take Jaff's Incantation Blades, which is the reroll ones to hit in a bubble.
Yeah.
Because then he just sits in between the two. You're shanting. You know.
Isn't that a signature spell any Jaff?
Yeah, but you can't take one if you got Law Familiar, can you?
No, but I've only got Law Familiar on one of them there, haven't I?
Yeah, maybe. But he's going to be sat at the back though, right?
Well,
level 3.
Yeah.
So that's where you want
all of them are probably.
Yeah, so you want him really sat at the back doing Jaff's Incantations. I think there is another spell as well which lowers toughness as well in a signature spell for Tomb Kings. I'm sure there is. Which is also
I think there's one which is minus, like similar to like Soul Blight, that sort of stuff, minus strength. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I'd change. Again, I don't necessarily think you need the Mirage Banner, but
yeah, no, it's
just there for there, innit? Yeah.
It's there for if I mess up and accidentally, don't leave enough, you don't quite maneuver well enough to stop him getting that shooting, and he gets that one round of shooting. It just gives me enough to hopefully keep some stuff alive to be able to res back the next turn.
You could probably drop the Mirage Banner, the Law Familiar, and just add more skeleton skirmishers. Just
I guess
you use them as buff, or just I'm going to take them to plus.
The risk then is having enough space behind the Ushabti to be able to deploy them. You look at this, you've got the Casket Souls, the skeleton skirmishers sort of, I guess, enveloping around those, and then I sort of want to leave 3-4 inches gap before the Ushabti to stop those balloons being able to sort of pester anything behind them. I just want to sort of, I don't want to get too clustered up behind there.
A Screaming Skull Catapult would be interesting as well, or 2, to pick off the cannons. If you get
it's something then, you then have to start dropping other things, and there's not much. It's then basically I've got to start dropping Ushabti.
I'd go maybe 14. I think that'll get you 2, maybe 1 Screaming Skull.
Problem is with them is that generally you want them in line of sight rather than shooting indirectly, and it gives the cannon something to fire back at. But
if you put them on a hill, they don't directly hit you, aren't they? Because of the cannon rule.
It can't go on the back. It can go up the hill. It can't go off the back, right?
No, but it can sit on top of the hill, because any part of the hill, it stops, doesn't it, now, with a cannonball?
Yeah, but the base is like 6 inches wide.
It's the monster base, one of them.
Yeah.
And you've got to be fully on the hill to get the
benefit. Turn it sideways. Just turn it sideways, it's fine.
You pivot side, you pivot to the face.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even need to pivot. You're a skirmish. You've got any angle. Right? But so this is my initial sort of thoughts, and I went into the garage thinking I had a lot of this stuff and realised I don't have a single thing apart from the horse arches.
It is quite big as well, to be fair.
I think I priced it up, and it's sort of minimum £200 to sort of get this army. But I think it would do fairly well. So I might have to try some, theoretical, use ogres instead of Ushabti, and see how it plays out.
I have written a dwarf list as well, which kind of focuses around the strength 4 mobile shooting in a similar way to your outrider list, but I don't think it's anywhere near as the same power level. It's more rounded, definitely. It can fight more, but
it's dwarfs, in it. They can all fight.
Yeah, it's like this is the kind of thing I'm looking at running potentially New Year, but I quite like it. Expedition with Force just got a bunch of different magical handguns on the engineers.
I think I've got this list as well, actually.
Probably not a million miles away from it.
I think the only thing I'm missing is the actual gyrocopters, and I've got everything else. Yeah,
cannons
try it if you wanted to use it.
Be annoying and shoot down. Again, it's that whole kind of making the damage add up, and hopefully the Thunderers have got a decent. They've not got a massive range, but a decent range. So if those lanterns do want to come in, You're all toughness 4. You've all got a 4+ save from shooting, obviously affected by AP and stuff. But hopefully you've got enough left, and you just reform the entire unit and unload constantly over and over again, and just take it down with weight and numbers. But I'm not 100% sold on this one being a fantastic list with whites at the end.
I mean, it looks like it does a lot. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'd be even tempted, Liam. You know the Bungman's cart? I'd actually, rather than the movement, I'd change that to the miners one. So you get the fire bombs. Everyone within 6, I think, gets like grenades to throw at people.
Yeah, but we just don't.
I mean, you don't want to be getting combat with this list.
I guess it stops the balloon. It stopped. It gives the balloon something to think about. Do I land within 4.5 to be in close range, and take those fire bombs potentially, or do I, sit out that?
I don't think they're any better than the handguns though.
No, I think the strength 3 minus 1, but they do D3 plus 1.
Yeah. Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad thing for your dwarf warriors though. It gives them something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. For the
I like that there is a lot of guns. The whole gun thing's great.
So the list I mentioned, I totally forgot, was Orc and Goblins. I think they're actually the best ANTI Cathay list in the game.
They are, yeah. They are.
So we'll have to come back to that one another day.
Maybe we should get John. Let's get John on and let him talk to us about it. See if he'll come on. Does John open a computer, do we reckon?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a problem.
We'll have to do a live one where we're all sat together.
There we go.
I think I do enjoy writing lists. Just writing lists in general, to be fair. But when you have got the big boogeyman army to try and beat, it's almost like you've got a point to write a list, if that makes sense, rather than just randomly spitballing lists. Like I love to, I do it on my lunch. So I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, I'm saying this as a Cathay player as well. Hopefully, that we'll get an FAQ soon. But I don't even know what they FAQ them. Do they put them up in points? And I think that is the only way, isn't it? Because you can't take rules off them. I don't think
you can. The thing is, they've done.
I know they've done it before.
Give them something that stops them being able to shoot 360. Make them not a chariot or something. I don't know. But then
I think that
takes it's probably the most 360 of all the chariots.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what
people need to start tacking into them a little bit, and I'm still convinced that 1 to 2 most people should be able to write lists and deal with. Any more than that, and it starts to stretch. And it's whether or not GW come out and put some kind of cap on them. They could very easily, like the match play guide. At the moment, you get the character mounts are separate to the
make them as one
restriction ones. So if just something simple as that and making them count. Yes, you catch some strays when you do that, but that would be at least it limit people to 3 without actually changing anything. But that and a small points change, or that and losing a odd rule, like it's not a million miles away.
Take quick shot off them or something.
I don't even think it's quick shot. I think it's the move and fire, which is the big one, because you're allowing him to march and then shoot,
or move the template thing into the shooting phase, so they can either only do that or the shooting.
Yeah,
or make that once per game.
Yeah,
but there are 5 grenades on.
There's 5 grenades on it. One for every turn.
There are options there. It's just do they want to put any levers? But
I don't necessarily want them to change because they are good, but I also think this is going to sound very contradictory. They're bad for the game because of what they're doing, but then I mean, you guys know this as well, and I say it to everyone. I'm not one of those TOs that is going to stop somebody playing their £100 models that they bought and painted. To if they want to bring 6, that's fine. I'm just going to tell everyone that they're probably not going to have a great game against that person. They might do. I might be completely wrong about that, but I've always, me as myself, I don't want to tell people that they can't use the models they've painstakingly sat and painted, and bought the models.
Definitely would.
I know, but I'm a different type of TO, aren't I?
Yeah. But yeah, so I think people need to think about the list, think about what works, and start maybe putting 400 or 500 points in a 2,000 point list into specific ANTI Cathay tech bits, bobs, whatever, and at least that's a starting point, rather than taking a list that was in version 1.3 of the game, is maybe quickly added in another infantry unit, and then expecting it to suddenly work against an army that you didn't have to play against in 1.15. So it's
and this is the stuff that's fun. This is the fun stuff, is that we are seeing new things, and we are having to adapt lists. It feels rough at the minute because everyone's just getting curb stomped by them, but keeping the game fresh is part of what's enjoyable, and being nice about having a supported system that the game is keeping fresh and evolving. So it's nice to see evolving lists that aren't, we're not just seeing one static build.
Well, hopefully the new Arcane Journal brings another way of playing, which almost takes the balloons out of the equation. I don't think it will, but the new Arcane Journal might say you can only take 1 or 2 balloons in, for whatever reason.
So face hammers. So WTC is capping at 2.
Yeah.
So that will be 2 lanterns in every single list that's going. 2 character lanterns. Face hammer is giving you 3 slots where you can take 3 lanterns, but a character on a lantern counts as a lantern.
Yeah.
So you can have 1 character and 1 basic, which is what I'm going to be taking, more than likely. There are different things out there, and 2 to 3 seems to be fairly popular in terms of limitations. And I think outside of that, it's like Jack was saying, it's how it plays into the whole army.
Yeah.
Like the fact it can fire and flee and stand and shoot against everything wouldn't be as bad if you were then getting Swiss Ride. But the fact that you're not getting Swiss Ride because the cannon from over there shot you means that you're not catching it, which means it's getting in 3 shooting phase.
Yeah, it's getting 2 shooting phases. It's like 2 a turn, basically.
I think that's what I was going to actually just about to say as well. The more lanterns people are taking, you're losing the other stuff, and you're also not scoring objectives. So if you get a list that can kill 1, 2 a turn, you've only got 4 left, which then aren't holding objectives, which then your opponent just stands on them all and is like, well, if you can kill me quick enough while I'm outscoring you, let's go, while I'm also shooting at you. So yeah, I think this definitely, I think 2 is the right spot morally, but also I think tactically as well, because then you get all the other stuff included with it. But as you know, Liam, you've been playing them since they've come out, so the synergies are the way it works. The reason it works, it's not just let's take 1 billion lanterns and see what happens, because you might come up against that anti-list that just absolutely, like the Viletide train thing. That could quite easily just kill every lantern ever, because you're not going to kill enough to get to the wizards, because they're going to be in bunkers of units, aren't they? Or you're throwing, an entire lantern at 1 level 2 or 1 wizard just to get rid of a spell that potentially might just nail you in 1 turn. So there's ways to deal with it. It's figuring it out, isn't it? Which is a challenge. It is.
It's a puzzle, and that's one of the reasons to play the game.
Yep. I think that's a good place to finish on. We all hate Cathay, even though we play them. Right, Jack, go on, do your YouTube bit, because that's your thing.
Follow, subscribe. Let us know in the comments if there's any other armies that you might want us to talk about, into how to sort of look at. We've all pretty much got most of the armies covered between us. But yeah,
I've got everyone, mate.
Look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. One thing actually before we do go, the guys, we've got a little studio chat on the side. They've been time stamping me, so I copy and pasted it. So I'm going to attempt to timestamp if you don't listen to us all ramble. So I'm going to attempt to do that when I get around to editing this video. So without further ado, goodbye everybody. Goodbye Liam. Goodbye Jack.
Bye Dan.
Goodbye.
Who muted Jack? Bye.